You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of ES Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at ES Club. I'm your host, Cornell Bunting. I am so excited today. We got quite a bit we're going to be unpacking. We're going to dive into some love conversation. But before we dive into all that, we're going to have our guest today on the show tell a tale, who is an educator. Some would identify as a professor, doing her thing, just, teaching a lot of these young minds how to be their best self in whatever field that looks like. And also, she has a few other things that she dive into. So I know for you guys' curiosity, you'll get to hear all about that. So we are talking about none other than Mrs. Charlene Fagan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cornell. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. I can say I'm going to have fun already.
hey, I can't tell a lie. I love the do, I love the do. It just...
Yeah. And you know what? I it kind of just transitioned into this because it's winter. And the other day I go to I said, my head cold. Because I've always had it like yours. I've normally kept it like yours. Right? Yeah. So I decided, let me see what it does. Because when you come outside sometimes, and I'm not one to wear hats in the winter, which I should to cover my mole. My mother would tell me to cover my mole. Yeah. So I decided, just see what it does. So I'm just seeing, so it's just doing what it does. No plans. I'm not even doing, I don't even know if I'm committed to it.
Well, it's working for you. You look dashing.
Thank you very kindly.
Yes. I would totally hit on you.
Like a truck?
This is good. So what we're going to do with the guests on the show today, we are going to treat them to your tale. So basically, you're going to take our listeners back to the early years where you were born, where you grew up, what was that like? And then, of course, we'll kind of dive in, So as you go, you'll get questions hit at you and we'll see how you answer them, yeah?
Oh, all right. Let's do this. Do this. Freestyle, because as you know, we never plan nothing.
Yes, man, definitely. So, where did you born?
Okay, I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, okay. Most likely at Jubilee Hospital, which is where most of us were born who are from Kingston.
This is true.
I grew up in a community. Actually, I was born in the community of Olympic Gardens, them called Waterhouse.
Yes, man. Youngster place.
My early memory of that was up to age maybe 3. Mm-hmm. After which my parents moved us to Mullines Road, not too far from there. Okay. Mullines Road, on a little road called Tarrant Drive.
Okay.
And my father, who is still alive, my mother passed 9 years ago, he's still living there. Okay. So it's still home for me. When I visit Jamaica, I still go there. 57 years.
Wow.
I still go there. Yes. Yeah.
That is awesome.
So that was my early beginnings. Very humble.
Yes.
Very grounded.
Right.
Very proud matriarch of the family, my mother. Powerhouse, warrior woman, fighter, queen. Those are the labels I give her, and a phenomenal woman, of course.
I love that.
She's amazing.
I love that. Mm-hmm. So you did both primary school and high school in Jamaica?
Yes, I did. I did Tarrant Primary, which I could walk to school from where I live.
Right.
And then I went on to Murgrove High School. That's where I did my high school education.
What? You was a Murgrove girl?
Yes, I'm a Murgrovian.
Hey, listen, I don't know what was wrong with me when I was going to school, but I was obsessed with having a Murgrove girlfriend.
What? You must be one of one of the chosen few, because we were not very popular among the guys. Our brother school was at Calabar High School.
Calabar, yeah.
But they never pay any mind.
Eh?
No, sir. As a matter of fact, I remember they used to call us Ugly Grove or something like that.
I remember Ugly Grove.
Yes, according to them, what we produced were not beautiful women. I don't know where they got that from, because hello.
No man, Merle Grove thing it up. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I liked how beautiful
Andrews and Immaculate and Queens were more popular. The girls were more popular. Those were all girls school.
Yeah, man.
We never get no ratings, but you know, I was very shy, very reserved. So it never ever mattered to me. I wasn't trying to. Yeah, I was very shy and reserved. Most people can't believe that now because of how I've evolved.
Right.
But yeah, no man, but it kind of dark.
Yeah.
You know what we call it dark? No, sir. No, sir. You couldn't get me to talk. If you were to ask me to do this, so that would have been, oh my God, 50, almost 50 years ago. I would say, you're mad. I didn't even put up my hand in class to answer questions.
Wow.
So when this teacher would, sometimes the teacher pick on you. Yeah. It's like nerves. Yeah, man. I was very reserved and shy and lacked confidence. But then, that's those years when you haven't really come into yourself yet.
Right.
And know who you are. Yeah. So I struggled with that for a while.
So you didn't even have a boyfriend in high school?
I didn't like one guy,
Yeah.
No, I couldn't have a boyfriend. You want my mother to beat me? You mad? But it's secretly like a guy.
Yeah.
Who went to the YMCA with me because my mother sent us to the YMCA. So I swam. I learned to swim, my entire family, and I played badminton.
Okay.
That's another story in and of itself. Yeah. So there was this little guy that went to Jamaica College.
Uh-huh.
I like him off. I used to look on him, and every time I see him, me get anxiety. And I got nervous, and because I thought he was really cute. He used to come play table tennis.
Right.
Funnily, we weren't really boyfriend and girlfriend, but I liked him, he liked me, so I had to keep it on the down low because, like I said, my mother would have just done me, right? There's no way I could have tell 15, 16, no, we were not allowed. Right. And then years passed by, we kept in touch, and then I'll tell you the rest of this. That was what, I left high school at 16. 10 years after we met again, and within a short time, he courted me and we got engaged. Wow. But we never made it to the altar.
What?
No, we never made it to the altar.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So we're gonna stick up in that, but we want to go back just a little bit. So in high school, academic, of course, I'm gonna assume that the academics was up there. You was an A student.
You know what? Up to what we call third form, grade 9. Mm-hmm. I was on a roll. I was doing well. I was trying to find my place in high school in terms of what it is that I really like to do. Math, science, don't come near me with that. I was not, as a matter of fact, I barely scraped through math just to graduate from university. Math was just not something I understand because I believe 1 and 1 can make 3. And I couldn't get the calculation, Right. So I was math averse. I guess you could say. I just couldn't, somehow my cranium just couldn't process math beyond 9th grade. Right. So I was finding that I was more creative, but there weren't a lot of creative outlets in my school. Right. I remember we did art and craft. Right. And usually when I do, I remember when the art and craft teacher gave us the still life drawing to do, mine was always the one she chose to show to the class. Yeah. But there was still no outlet because at the time, if you were not choosing the sciences, like, you ever become doctor, lawyer, or anything like that, nobody really pushed you.
Right.
You were not pushed. And I didn't really like sewing, so needlework. Cookery, I was good at. Oh. And that was because of my creative ability. I don't know if the food would taste good, but when I fix up the table,
it looked good.
It looked good.
Yeah.
So, and then I had a teacher, and I must talk about this, that may have impacted me psychologically and mentally. Yeah. She, just about the time when we were to graduate from high school, And I tell this story quite a bit. She had all of us in that particular classroom. We were gathered, and she was just kind of finding out who was doing what and how many subjects we were taking. That was a GCE. Remember that exam?
Right.
It was a British exam. And so when she got to me, she said, Charlene Fagan, how many subjects are you doing? And I said, Miss, and remember, I'm shy and dark, so when she asked me, I get nervous. I said, Miss, I'm taking 8. You know what she said to me? Listen, this is exactly what she said. Listen to me. Nobody waste your mother money. You shouldn't take more than 5.
No.
That's what my teacher told me. I remember her name. I'm not going to call her name. She passed. So I remember how I wanted to sink in the floor. I wish the floor would have, the floor opened up. In my mind, it opened up, and that's where I went. So I kind of just retreated and just fell into the background. And that further actually created for me this lack of confidence in myself. I felt like, me done for now. Because now me done. Wow. And all along, I was doing well. Primary school, I skipped grades. 1, they put me in grade 1, your first grade, and the teacher told my mother, no, she has to go to grade 2. I didn't even go to grade 5. I went from 4 to 6. So clearly there was something about me. And I knew I was a bright person.
Yeah.
But there was nobody. My mother would encourage me, my forehead big. She say, that's where all the brains them there. Them call me Buck. Me get all them names there. Me get Buck.
Buck.
So I believe that when you really think about it, there was a lot of cruelty in the culture that I don't know if it was deliberate, because we make fun of everything.
Right.
And so even names, calling us names, it was done in the spirit of fun, but there was a little cruelty.
Yeah.
Underlining, I would say, cruelty there.
Right.
And as a young person lacking confidence, it just, floored me when my teacher told me that. So I don't think I excelled the way I could have.
Right.
I didn't. My mother was supportive, but really have the teachers. I think the teachers at that time, in the name of being strict, they did not realize that they disempowered us a lot. They were they would say stuff, and they were often cruel, I think.
Yeah. I think the culture we have there, I don't think the teachers realize that. And
no,
they
thought they were being strict and them care for you and them trying to push you.
Yeah.
But no, the name calling and the telling you that. I mean, imagine telling me in front of my class that I mustn't do more than 8 because she said you're going to waste your mother money. Did I mention that?
Yeah.
She said nobody waste your mother money.
Why, that's rough. That's rough. So
it was rough.
So for the listeners, how many did you take?
I took how much minute? I took all 8.
Okay.
I took all 8. I do believe when I was doing the math, I remember the day of the math exam, I got sick in the math exam. I had to go to the nurse's room, and then suffices to say I didn't pass math.
Right.
So I passed 3 subjects: religion, food and nutrition, and history, because I liked history.
Caribbean history.
Or was it English? I think it's 4 I got, but one of them was low.
Okay.
I got a distinction in food and nutrition. Like me say, I'm to pretty up the table because I'm very creative like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I decorate right now. I decorate spaces. It's one of my hustles. So I think the creativity of what I presented made the people then when them taste the food, it probably tastes good.
Okay.
I'm a good cook now, though. I'm a good cook.
I love that.
Yeah. So that was that part of my story.
Now, you finish high school. Did you start working in Jamaica, or you left Jamaica?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease in Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance. Through mentorship, empowering programs, and storytelling workshops, we help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida,
ES is changing lives,
one story at a time.
but we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit ahazink.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
No, I immediately had to work. Did not have enough subjects to go to sixth form. Remember, sixth form is where you transition before college or university. Didn't have enough subjects. Plus, my mother never have any money. I, on my own, started to do some extra lessons, trying to qualify to see if maybe I could go to college in Jamaica, but it didn't work out. And Jamaican education, you know, it's really for a select few. I don't know, people might be mad with me, but at the time, only a select few entered into the university. It was very tough. The prerequisites to get into the university were tough. So I worked. I immediately went to work. They didn't even want to hire me because I just turned 16. And I think at the time 16 was I think it had to be like, I just turned 16. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember they didn't want to hire me. So I worked with the Ministry of Public Utilities and Transport. That was my first job.
Okay.
After which, I think I worked there for a year. I decided to go Cayman go for a visit.
Yeah.
And stay in other people them country longer than I should. And them sent me home. I was not deported. They sent me home.
You overstayed your stay.
I overstayed and they sent me home. I was 16 and just being idle and then I went back home. I got another job with the telephone company of Jamaica. That was the name at the time. And so I worked there as a permanent temporary staff. You know that your temporary, so every so often they renew you after renew your status, your employment status. And so I worked there for 3 years. I don't even know what I did. It was just, I don't even know if I was productive. I didn't like it. It didn't do anything for me. I was just going through the motion. I was just going to work.
Yeah. You were just in the space. If someone had looked at you and said, what do? You couldn't explain to them.
I probably couldn't explain it. I know I started off in customer service, which was the best part of what I did because I'm very sociable and love people. So that was wonderful for me. And then they moved me to another department where I don't know, my production, I know eventually them tell me to leave. Them said, you know, you're no longer welcome here.
Yeah.
But during that time, in between that time, at the age of 20, I had a terrible car accident. And I was unable to work. I was hospitalized for about a month. I was airlifted from St. Anne's Bay Hospital to Kingston Public Hospital. I suffered like concussion, several lacerations in my face. It was brutal.
Yeah.
So there goes my modeling career.
Oh my goodness.
I want to be a model.
So that was something that you thought of, becoming a model?
Oh no, I'm 5'3". It wasn't gonna happen. That was in my head. That was in my head. I was being delusional. But the accident did kind of put a damper on just my spirit, my life. I felt, you know, at 20 you have all these scars in your face, and you know, you imagine the self-esteem that I was just trying to build, just plummeted, and I had to build myself again up because people would say, "What happened to your face?" I had 2 plastic surgeries subsequent to the accident, so that kind of helped me to regain some of my confidence in myself.
I see.
Yeah, because Jamaica is, again, a society where people would just come to you and say, What happened to your face?
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, what I used to be asked, were you fighting? Because I have one of the scars. Yeah, bad girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it all. So it was a situation that was very delicate for me,
Right.
and I had to really look within and see that I was more than all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the story after that is I decided to pursue higher education outside of Jamaica.
Right.
Went back to Cayman to visit again. They welcomed me. So I never did get deported at 16. And I went back just for a visit to visit the friends that I had met at the time I went in. And they encouraged me to stay. And I'm like, no, I'm not stay again after the people that run me out of them country. Oh, no, want me to stay. So they told me about a college in a town called Newlands, and they were having an exam. It's the GED exam.
Yeah.
For those who were interested in enrolling in the college. So I went and I did the exam, and you kind of forget about it, gone about my business, gone back to Jamaica. And one day my mother called to say there was a letter for me. So I said to her, Mama, how long was this letter here? She said, it come a few weeks ago.
Whoa.
When I opened the letter was accepting me. I passed the GED, way up, high percentile. And they told me that I only had 2 weeks in which to decide if I was coming to the college.
Wow.
So I decided to take it on. Me now have no money,
Yeah.
I have no money for go college. So I went to a grand uncle, my mother's uncle, and he said he would help me. And so I'm gathering whatever I could to make my travels overseas.
Right.
And put together 1 semester money and my plane ticket, and off I went to Cayman.
Yeah. Wow.
And that was the beginning of what I call my greatness.
Yes.
I came into my greatness at that point.
I love that. So you completed college in Cayman, and
I completed college just the first 2 years. The president of the college saw my abilities. He saw that I was this bright person. I was excelling in the areas that I was interested in, but the college did not have the program that I wanted to pursue, which is psychology.
okay.
They only had like a counseling degree.
Right.
And he assisted me through some connections he had in Florida at a HBCU, Florida Memorial University.
Yes.
And he knew the vice president, so he made some connections, and I got a scholarship from Cayman, and I attended Florida Memorial College, which is where I pursued my undergraduate degree.
That's beautiful. Wow.
And then I went on to graduate school. So that is just how my story just evolved. And honestly, it was God,
Yeah.
prayer,
Yes.
and me.
That's
in
amazing.
that order. It
Wow.
had to be, because I always say I went to Cayman with $500 and a prayer.
Yeah.
And worked my way to
You work your way up there.
Yeah.
No, so when did you first got your first job to teach?
So at the end of my studies, one of my professors from my undergraduate school, she contacted me, and she said, there is a position at the college, and I think you would be perfect for it, because I did well in my courses. And she said, why don't you come and interview for it? So I went in. It was a student service counselor position.
Okay.
And so I went in, did the interview, and this part of the story I have to tell you. So you know how we have manners. We come from Jamaica, you have manners.
Yes, man.
When I was completing my undergraduate studies, I would often go to that same department to seek advice, because I wanted to know what would be the best area to pursue my master's in.
Right.
And so I was going to see the counselor regularly. So the lady at the front, the administrative assistant, we used to call them secretary.
Right.
I would often, I had to pass through her to see the counselor. And each day I would go there, I would say, good morning, you greet her, you have manners, good morning, Mrs. Rice, whatever, good afternoon, whatever time of day. And while I was in the interview, she came in and saw me, and she remembered me, and I saw her call the director who was interviewing me, and And she whispered something to him, and I'm like, what's this? He came back to the interview. He said, the interview is done. Mrs. Rice said, I have to hire you because she remember you as a student. You were well-mannered.
Wow.
And Mama used to tell me that manners take you far away.
Yes,
And
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. This is
so I
true.
was hired on the basis of just having manners, and I suppose for, my abilities. But the interview was cut short there. During that time, the same professor who had recommended me for the job, she was the head of the department, the psychology department, social science department.
Yeah.
She said to me, Charlene, there's a course that I think you can teach, and it's group dynamics. I'll never forget. So I ended up teaching at my alma mater.
Oh, okay.
And that's where my teaching journey started.
Wow.
I realized that was my gift. That was my assignment. That is my assignment because I'm still teaching.
Wow.
And I believe that is truly my assignment on this planet.
I love that. I love that. Now, take us back to what happened when engagement and all these things happen. Why we never go all the way and just get the woman?
Well, it was, so like I said, it was like somebody I knew in my past, and we kind of kept in touch on and off. I had just, the year I met him again, that was the year I went back home on my way to school in Florida. And the relationship I had while I was in college, started before college, that was the person with whom I had the accident. We broke up the summer on my way to college in Florida, if that makes sense. So I went back to Jamaica for about 3 months and we broke up. Him just tell me one day, it done.
Okay.
So heartbreak and devastated. So, you have to work with that. And I'm now on my way to college in Florida. So went to college with a broken heart.
Oh.
And so the December of that year, Gilbert was that year as well, 1988. I went home for Christmas holiday and found my first love.
Okay.
The same table tennis player guy. And we just had this whirlwind connection. And by February, this is December, by February, he just called me and said, you know what, marry me. Just like that. I said, is that a proposal?
Yeah.
So it turned out to be. And we dated during that time. I lived in Jamaica. He was finishing his PhD at the time. And I lived in Florida and he was finishing his PhD. I was just in the throes of my undergraduate degree.
Right.
And I don't know. So we were engaged in February, and in the April of the same year, his uncle visited. This is cruel. You're gonna cry for me. And his uncle brought me a letter. So I'm excited to get the letter, right? When I opened the letter, it was a Dear Jane letter. I call it a Dear Jane letter.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Charlene, I am so sorry, but I don't think I can continue with this engagement.
Wow.
Just like that. Wedding frock by, because August was supposed to get married and all. Well, the fabric, because I was designing my own dress.
Right,
and my bridesmaid fabric by,
Yeah.
And I'm planning my wedding. And so that was my first real, no, I've had heartbreaks before, but that one really hit me.
Wow.
And I had to work through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So he didn't even tell you he can't do it. He sent you a letter.
He sent me a letter with his uncle.
Wow.
And I was so hurt and heartbroken. I was wearing an engagement ring. So I sent the engagement ring in the same envelope. And you don't want to hear what I said. I don't I said, I think this would look better on your mother. He was a mama's boy.
Wow.
And I said, I think this ring will look better on your mother. That was my hurtful statement.
Oh, that's how. Oh, that's a.
Yeah. Wow. So but you grow through it, you pass through it, you get tough, but I never toughened my heart.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I was never one of those who wanted to harden my heart because of heartbreak. I just believe in love too much.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I will never nobody will ever get me to say, "Me done."
Yeah.
Me did done liquor still,
Right.
But I never really closed off my heart because love is too beautiful. No,
Love is
it's such
beautiful.
a beautiful experience.
Yeah, man, love is beautiful. So, I mean, after that happened, when did you open up again to say, you know what, I'm gonna give
Ready?
the next person a chance?
So I was always open to love.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly was always open to love, but it took a while for me to really meet that person with whom I felt a connection. By this time, I was evolving into this um, person that was, I think I was moving towards a higher consciousness,
Right.
even at that age. This is in my 20s. So
Yeah.
I always wanted more for myself. I always knew there was something great in me. I knew I possessed great powers. So I always had my heart open. But during that time, I really never met anyone that I connected with to the point of, say, solidifying a relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
all through college, university, I I was single. You dated, but nobody really, you
Yeah,
know, moved me the way I like to be moved, to be
I see.
part of a relationship. And then I was looking to connect more spiritual, not so physically, because
Right.
we're
Yeah.
so physical. So it took a while, and I ended up meeting my husband, well, now ex, whom I had met at work in my early 20s. It's a weird story. It's a weird story. Anyway, he visited Florida. He was visiting Florida and he found me because we never really lost touch. He's a friend. I knew
Right.
him from I was working. We were both
Okay.
friends at the company. He worked at the telephone company. And on a visit to Florida, we connected and we were just hanging out. And he said to me, I don't want a relationship because I'm going through my own, he was going through a divorce at the time. And
Yeah.
we said, all right, we just hang out. So we were
Yeah.
hanging out. And but those words never came true because we started to pursue each other. And then I said to him, I don't want a long distance relationship. He didn't want to live in the States. And so he said, well, come back home.
Yeah.
So I went back home to Jamaica after that job working, after that career of teaching, student service counselor. I went back to Jamaica in the middle of that. And we pursued, we didn't get married immediately. We pursued a relationship. We ended up moving in. I ended up moving in actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then my first child came when I was 32. By this time I was like 30 going back home. And within
Okay.
2 years we had our first child together. He had
Okay.
previous marriages and
Okay.
children before.
Okay.
And so my first child came, my first
Okay.
son.
Okay.
And so I lived in Jamaica for a little while, trying to find my footing in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Just didn't find it.
Yeah.
I've always been a hustlepreneur, right? I'm a
Right.
hustler.
Yeah.
So outside of my career, I've always hustled. So I used to be in fashion. I sell clothing, and I was just trying to find my way.
Mm-hmm.
As I tried to gain employment, I was always told, "You're too qualified. We can't hire you. We can't pay you." So the two jobs I took were the two jobs that made me realize this space is not for me.
Yeah.
Didn't have the most empowering bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I had two female bosses. They were it was disastrous.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I'm not a difficult person. I don't
Right.
think I
Right.
just had difficult bosses.
Yeah. I understand.
And
Wow.
I'm a woman who believes in women empowerment. I
Yeah.
remember my second job, I said that to my boss, and she said, "Don't be throwing these words around. These phrases, these catchphrases." That's because I told her she was not very empowering, and I didn't feel I belonged there. So I left
Right.
that job, and
Yeah.
within a few weeks, she asked me to come back, and she
Right.
apologized. And within a few weeks, she did the same thing again. So I left. And then I just felt restless. I'm in Jamaica and
Mm-hmm.
I'm restless. I don't know if to do it myself.
Yeah.
I knew there was more in me, but I just couldn't find it. So a friend told me about coming to Canada, and I told my baby daddy was at the time. He wasn't my husband yet. We weren't married yet. My
Yeah.
my partner. I told him that I wanted to leave Jamaica. He said no. not leaving Jamaica. Because by this time he's in his 40s. He's 11 years my senior. He said, don't want to leave Jamaica. So I said, okay, so what are we going to do? Anyway, within a year, he said, you know what? File the papers. So I did. And within a very short time, we got through. And so we emigrated. The entire family. It was myself, his daughter, my stepdaughter at the time, and my son, who was 5-year-old.
Okay.
So we came to Canada, which is where I'm currently residing. And that was another transition. Oh my God, Cornell. The grass always looks greener on the other side when you're just looking at it from a certain lens.
Right.
But coming to Canada had its own struggles.
Yeah.
It was not a smooth transition at all.
Wow.
And I thought coming here, equipped with an education, I would have just naturally fall into finding a good job, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That was not what it was.
Wow.
So the journey was an arduous one.
Yeah.
I had to start, I pretty much started over.
Right.
Retail, jobs, people telling me that I have to sweep up floor. And my ego was not able to handle all of that. But I persevered.
Yes.
Because we're resilient people.
Yes, this is true.
So I persevered and I went through the growing pains of moving into a new space as an immigrant.
Yes.
It was not easy. And of course, within a year, bam, my second son came.
Right, the second son. Yeah.
Never planned that. I was 40. Who plans to be pregnant at 40?
Right.
So my second son came into my life and changed my life, changed the whole trajectory of my life in a good way.
Yeah.
Gave me a second, I would say, he gave me just a second chance in life, in a sense, because I started to really come into my power, realizing that there are a lot of things I was gifted to do as an entrepreneur. I ended up pursuing business. I owned a bridal store in a fairly affluent area.
Right.
I opened my bridal store, which I ran for about 4 years. And then I garnered a position at a college where I stayed for quite a number of years, over 8 years, in the area of social science, an area that I love, teaching sociology, psychology, human relations,
right,
and a course in diversity. And I garnered that position and stayed there for over 8 years.
It's amazing.
So that was just that part of my journey.
I love it. So you just look young. You just look young. I love it. I love it.
Me not young.
I know, based on all the things you're talked on, I know you have to have somewhat a number on there, and I was gonna say 50, but
no, sir. Try add 10 to that plus 1 this year.
61?
Yes. 61.
Wow.
Yes, in a few months.
You're blessed.
I think it start show now.
Nah, man, in a start show yet.
The camera.
No, in a start show yet. They're beautiful.
Yeah, it's been, but I must say it built me up. I am grateful. I get up every day in gratitude. I stay in gratitude. I am not bitter. I'm not angry. Unfortunately, my marriage never lasted. That was the sad part of this whole situation. My marriage just became I guess it became a casualty of, I would say, migration attitude, because my husband never joined us until about 3 years after we settled, because somebody had to be there to hold things down.
Right.
And he was engaged in meaningful work, and it was just never the right time for him to come here, at the risk of, my family not doing well. Because having a child at that time, you can imagine what that did.
Right.
I had to pause again.
Yeah. Wow.
And daycare and all the expenses of that. So I was raising 3 children on my own.
Wow. Man, that's strong right there. So, with how you are now and, this love space that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
the phenomenal char.
Yes. Yes. That's
When did you feel you need to propel to this space where, this is where, and maybe it was always there, you just never felt like it was the right time or what it was?
and this space, what is exactly?
That you talking about love where you have your show and all these
Okay.
different things.
Okay.
Yes.
I was always thinking, I always felt that everyone has a story and that we need to share our stories because I believe our stories help to build others, encourage others, propel others forward. I don't care who you are, where you come from. Your story could impact someone in a way that could change their lives.
Yes.
And so I just felt that I had something to say. Remember, I was silenced for a long time. When the teacher tell me say me dunce and I must do this, that silenced me.
Right.
And I always felt I had something to say. So when I came into that I want to call it knowingness.
Right.
I started to realize that I had a voice and I was already in front of people teaching and sharing. And I also am a motivational speaker. I didn't share this with you, but I'm also employed as a mental health trainer. Um,
Beautiful.
and an assignment that I have had for 2 years with an organization that's called Black Mental Health Canada. So I train in the field of mental health.
I love that.
And in fact, this week was my last of 4 visits to a correctional facility where I spoke to the inmates, trying to encourage them, trying to um, equip them with what I feel are tools for life.
Mm-hmm.
They are incarcerated, but I felt that there's still something that can come out of them because some of them may be released,
Right.
right? And at some point, I think maybe all of them will be released. So when I find that I have these gifts, I want to share these gifts with the world. I want to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
not in an egotistical way. I just want to be seen. I want to be heard. I feel that I need to share. I need to let people know that here I am. I belong here. And in this current space, I can share my story and perhaps something that I share may have resonance with someone. Encourage them, a little girl that feel like she don't, that may have heard her teacher say, boy, you can't do this.
Right.
Maybe she can realize just through my voice that she can.
I love that. I love that. Now, when you go into even a space where people are in their compromise, like the jail, the correction center or whatever, to motivate an individual that is possibly looking at a lot of time that they're losing out on, what they could be doing out here, how do you encourage them to just get them into that mindset to understand that it's going to be okay? All that is going to be there when you get out.
It's challenging. It's tough, but I'm very realistic about what their situation is.
Right.
So I don't paint these pictures of, everything is going to be nice and flowery. I want them to understand that while they exist in that space, there is still the mind that they have that power.
Mm-hmm.
And the power of their minds. In fact, this week I actually spoke to them about how they can stay there and still cultivate a space in their mind so that when they get out, they can be better to themselves and society.
That's amazing.
This last conversation I had with them, I call it conversation because I'm not a preacher type.
Right.
While in conversation with them, I asked them to just share some words of affirmation.
Yes.
For themselves. So I gave them a few minutes to just think about it. And it was amazing what they said. Many of them do have hope.
Right.
They have hope that one day they'll get out. And there are some repeat offenders who have now promised themselves that they will no longer get into that space where they can return.
Right.
And so part of what I try to share with them is how powerful they are.
Right.
And that they have to first see themselves as powerful beyond the walls of prison. And use the power that they have within to cultivate a mindset of knowing that when they get out, they will not reoffend.
That's amazing.
But it takes a mental process. Like I tell them, you're in a physical prison, but you don't have to be in a mental prison.
Right. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and so we had this it was I would say a beautiful discourse. We talk and they shared, and one of them said something that kind of moved me to tears. He said, "I want to get out of jail. I need to get out." And so whatever it takes at this point, I will have to do.
Yes.
It's when you see their faces, they could be my sons, my brothers, my uncles, you understand that so many of them feel disempowered. They don't feel as if they have any hope. So I'm there to try and at least give them some sense of hope.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, because we're in the last leg of the segment, what would you say to the audience on love? Because there's a lot of people that misunderstand love. People say they love someone, that they want to stay in a relationship, but they're abusing to that person, and they're trying to convince that person it's really because I love you why I do this to you. How would you speak to that?
To me, the word love is so vast.
Yeah.
It's infinite. I don't believe that love can be defined in just one word. Love, first of all, I am love. I exude love. I will always be love.
Right.
So I, as a person who personifies love, I can always love and love again. There is no limit to how much love I can give.
Right.
And I don't think we came into this existence to just love once or one person. And love, the vastness of love is you can love your children, your parents, your partner, your friend, your co-worker. Love is so vast. So for me, as long as you understand that you are love, you can always share your love with others. I look at even romantic love differently, Cornell. It's not the butterflies and the feel good. That is good too. That's nice too. But it is love of self first, which is what my topic on my podcast is. First, self-love.
First, self-love, yes.
And if you have that, if you possess that, you can love a gazillion times over.
Oh, definitely.
Right? And you can you can basically love even the unlovable. Depending on how you see love. I believe I am of God and God is love, and therefore I am love.
Yes.
And if God is love and I am love, then I will always have love.
Yes.
Because I'll always have. So I look at love in a very spiritual way now. It's not so much the physical way that we look at love. We define love by what you do, what you get, what you do for the person. And if you truly love, you will not hurt people.
Yes.
And if your love comes from the source, which is God for me, you can't hurt people.
This is true. This is very true.
Oh, what I do to protect myself and my energy is I don't go around people who are toxic, who will almost challenge the way I see love. I stay away from those energies because it's just not good for me. I don't have no time for it. I don't want nobody to come terrorize my spirit and break my peace. I'm really in that space of peace and love, and I refuse to compromise there. So what I do now to protect my peace and my love is I do not engage in anything that's going to compromise that. Because I'm still human. I'm still of human form.
Of course.
You understand?
Yes.
And so how I just try to get in touch with my higher self. And each day I try to build my higher self.
That's beautiful.
So there's no one way to answer that, to be honest with you.
Well, you did a good job. You did a good job.
Love and love.
Yes.
Love and love.
Now,
Right?
what would you say is your favorite song? The song that you listen to that motivate you in the morning?
A whole heap of them now, but I love Dennis Brown. As a matter of fact, I just play some Dennis Brown.
Okay.
Love and hate could never be friends. You know,
Oh, yes. That's big.
I love that song. Every time I hear that song, it lifts me up. It builds me up because it is such a truth. Love and hate can never be friends. Yeah. Because I love my reggae. That's the genre I love most.
I love that. You're in a situation where you're very hungry. You have a plate with yam, banana, dumpling with ackee and saltfish. You have another plate with rice and peas and some oxtail. You can only choose one plate. Which one?
I must say, the yam banana, I'm going to eat dumpling, although I'm not a dumpling eater, and ackee and saltfish. First of all, I don't eat meat.
Okay,
so the rice and peas and chicken that will stay over there, so
yeah.
I'm not even going to tempt it. Oxtail, you say? I'm not even going to get tempted. But the ackee, and guess what? I just eat some nice ackee and saltfish.
Wow.
On the rock recently.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So that would be it.
And you just got back from Jamaica?
Yes. Yes. Jamaica's still in me. Yes,
Spoil yourself.
Spoil yourself, of course. And that's where I spoil myself traveling to Jamaica. That's where my spirit comes alive.
Yeah.
Jamaica, nice.
Yeah, we have to talk more upon this, but what I'm going to do right now, because, you have done so well to my listeners on the show. I am so grateful to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you for being on the show today, sharing your story, taking us on this beautiful tale, because that was lovely. And so with that, how can people find you? Where can they find you? What does that look like?
Okay. So I am on YouTube as Let's Chat with Phenomenal Shar. That's my podcast. Still trying to get it together, solidify it, as well as I have my email address. The simple one is Irie Wellness Living, IRIE WELLNESS living at Gmail. That's it, .com, of course. So yeah, that's the easiest way to get me. That's the easiest way to find me. And I'm on Instagram as Irie Wellness Living, Phenomenal Woman International. Let's Chat with Phenomenal Shar. I have all these handles on Instagram and on Facebook. Charlene Fagan. Simple Charlene Fagan.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Charlene
all over
Fagan.
social media.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you, Cornell, for having me. It was fun. It's lovely. Yes. Kind of feeling vibe. I said, no, mega like him. No, mega like him. So,
yeah, man.
Yes. And I
am
appreciate
very likable.
The introduction.
I am very likable.
You are very likable. You're very wonderful.
Thank you. So, guys, there you have it. Another beautiful episode right here in EAS Club. Until our next episode, where we have another decorative guest, like Charlene. You can check her out. You heard her handles, and we'll definitely share them when the show goes out. So definitely, I look forward to hearing what you guys think on the show and all this beautifulness. Charlene, thank you very much again.
Blessed love, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.hissinggorge and www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember,
Your story has power.